So if you guys are watching this video and you're a little confused because you don't understand what's actually going on, let me explain something for you. I used to have a YouTube channel before I started Boneyard Revivals, and basically that one didn't end up working out. So pretty much packed all my stuff up and started Boneyard Revivals, and I'm proud to say that it was the best move I ever made. But I had a bunch of old content that actually used to be posted on that channel. And I was going through some of my archive footage and stuff and kind of realized that when I started Boneyard Revivals, I never really told you some of the stories, about, certain project vehicles like the square body. I was kind of going through some of that footage, and I decided to come out with, the Boneyard Archive, playlist and everything to basically feature some of those videos and some of those projects. I hope you guys enjoy and get something out of it, and hopefully it also gives you the background on some of the projects and kind of get you in touch with some of the stories on how these vehicles on this channel have come to be. Want to go for a ride in my square body?
Yeah.
I buy 2 Chevy square bodies because, I'm only partially insane. 1985 Chevy K20. Obviously, for most Chevy guys, you're going to know by immediately looking at the grill, you'll realize that it's not an 85 grill. This is going to be a late 80s, early 90s grill in this truck, which is actually kind of cool. I prefer these grills better than the ones that they had in 85 anyway. But this was a plow truck. As you can see, it's beat up and it's, discolored. I have all my tools and stuff here because I'm currently working on. But blue interior, dash is not in great shape, as you can see. That's a common thing on these trucks for that to happen. But just giving you a quick little walk around here. This is a small block 350, and behind it is a 700R4 for a transmission. It's a 4-speed automatic. Most Chevy guys are cringing right now going, bummer, you have the crappy transmission. Yeah, that is what it is. Yo, man, trying to make a video. Are you coming here for me? Yeah, that's right. You better keep driving. I didn't do anything illegal yet. But yeah, so this is a small block Chevy. This is 350 cubic inches of raw power. And when I say raw power, I mean like bone stock. These things made like 200 horsepower if. But behind it is a 700R4 transmission, which was their 4-speed automatics. Now most Chevy guys are already kind of cringing and freaking out a little bit, considering that it's a K20 and there's a 700R4 in it. No worries. For right now, we're gonna deal with all this, and we'll make all of this in there better eventually, but not right now. This is a 1989 Chevy Suburban. This is, like I said, I bought them both together. This one, unfortunately, this is going to be the parts truck, obviously, if you haven't been able to figure that out. He ended up, the guy that I bought it off of, he ended up ripping the engine out of this. This was also a 350 truck. Actually, as a matter of fact, for proof on that, there's your tag right there. That was also backed by a 700R4 tranny. As far as I know, that transmission is blown up, from what I was told. But that's perfect, because that means I'm going to drop that transmission out of it, get it rebuilt, and actually build that transmission. So, because if you put the right parts in these transmissions, they actually are really good transmissions if you build them right. That's the key term. You have to build them right. So that's what my game plan is for that as of current. But yeah, this is going to be the parts truck. I need bumpers all the way around. As you can tell, I mean, it's in pretty rough shape. Especially on this side, we have some major rottage going on there. Look at that 33 12.5, man. That is dummy thick back there. Anyways, enough about that. Red interior. The dash is actually, honestly, I mean, it's cracked. It's really hard to find one of these dashes that are in great condition. But I mean, this one just has 3 small cracks. I mean, well, I wouldn't call them small, but it's in pretty decent shape. And if I wanted to, eventually I can get another dash pad. But this dash is coming out of this truck and going in the K20. I'm probably going to take some of the red interior pieces too. I'm also going to take these doors and the door panels, just because the red on black would look really good. Eventually, if I come across red door panels too, I'll get red door panels, but not worried about that right now. Like I said, we just want to piece it together. But yeah, I mean, so it's a parts truck. A lot of stuff is kind of all over the place currently. It has a lot of options though too. Like check out the defrosters rear and back on the dash. The sun visor actually had lights in it. I pulled the wire out of it last night because I'm gonna wire it up in the other truck, and pretty much convert that interior to the red interior that's in this truck. Whoever decided to get their hands on this truck, because it was a plow truck, they absolutely butchered the wiring for the headlights. Like, it is just a disaster. So I need to go through all of this, sort all this out. I don't know if the bulbs for the headlights even work. Oh, it's time to wake up and piss off all the neighbors. Got a pumper. There she goes. She's only a little loud. Sounds good, don't it? Because the muffler's hacked off of it along with the catalytic converter. She breathes better that way. So far, so good. The brake light's on, but we don't worry about that. Brakes are for only when you want to stop anyway, so we're just going to continue driving her and letting her warm up a bit. And I mean, it stops fine. Kinda. Yeah, it's alright. We don't worry about it. The back rear likes to lock up a little bit, so we'll have to pull the tire off and the drum off and see what's actually going on there, but for right now, we're driving the girl. Oh, didn't shut the door like a man. There we go. That's nice and tight now. Yep. Clapped. We're gonna disconnect the battery now that she's in here. Seems like the right thing to do. We're gonna pull the dipper stick. There's oil on there, but as you can see, she's ripe. She's ready for some new. Well, I ran into our first problem of the evening. I really don't have anything to put all the waste oil in. Yeah, it's kind of a problem. I did come up with a solution, however. Got some empty soda bottles here. That should work. They're in the plug on the oil panner right there, so we gotta unscrew that guy and take out that bolt, and we're in business. Oh, there she goes. Oh, and okay. That works too. I didn't want her to plop like that, but whichever works, works. And something that I like to do, maybe you do it, maybe you don't, let me know. I'll usually take a little bit of oil and fill up the filter. Maybe not all the way, but a good portion of the way, and then take some of the oil and put her right on the O-ring there so she kind of seats up in there and she's good to go. So we're gonna do that. So now we just kind of get to sit here and wait, probably give it about a good minute or two for all the oil to get down in there and get down to the pan so we can actually get an accurate reading off the dipstick to see how much more we got to add. But yeah, we're pretty much done. I mean, we're pretty much done. Once I pull that dipstick out and she's got enough on the stick there, you can call her a day. Yep, she's right up to the full mark. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that or not. Probably not. It's full though. I promise. I wouldn't lie to you like that. Got a finagler back in the dipstick hole. But yeah, oil change on a small block Chevy, it really ain't that hard. Ta-da! We're done. How about that? Now we go beat the piss out of her? I don't know. The next time you see this truck, we'll probably be going to the junkyard for some parts for it. Big thing that we're going to be looking for is hopefully a turbo 350. That'd be pretty nice to pick one of them up for cheap. The 700R4 in this, it turns out that it only has 2 forward gears out of the 4. So that's a little bit of an issue. So we'll kaplunk her out of there and throw in a turbo 350 for now and run her. But this thing's really close to being on the road. There's a few other things that I just want to take care of. I know that we need to pull off the driver's side rear tire and check out that drum. The brake light is on in the truck, as you saw earlier in the video. We're gonna have to be looking into that, so you'll see that in the next video, or one of the next videos on this truck. I don't know. There's probably gonna be a lot of videos on this truck. It's just gonna take over the whole channel. And honestly, who cares? If you don't love a square body, you're just not American. So I don't know what to tell you, but I was just sitting here pondering to myself, which is something that my brain don't like to do. I got to thinking and I realized I's never done a burnout in his clapped out square body. That changes today. Alright, so now that we're done trying to break the thing, I guess it's time for us to actually get back to work on it. So we have a bunch of AC Delco products here. Let's go through them. These are going to be our spark plug wires. We have, I believe this is going to be our distributor cap, rotor, spark plugs, and then this guy is going to be our fuel selector. Basically, the one that's on this truck, this is a dual tank truck in case if you were unaware. Basically what this guy does, it'll take the fuel from the driver's side tank and the passenger side tank, runs it all through right here, and then sends it up to the truck to run. The one that we have on the truck is not working. Update for you. We're down here at the old fuel selector madoodle. That's what this guy is here. This truck has 2 tanks, one on the passenger side and then one over there on the driver's side. And the driver's side tank's got to be empty because the thing just won't run. So I switched the switch over, and the thing just doesn't seem to be pulling. So I'm thinking it's going to be this solenoid right here. It's probably stuck. So what we're going to do here is a little bit of a flipperoo. We're going to take this line here is for the driver's side, as the line next to it back here, that's for the passenger side. We're going to take those and whoop, flip them around, and she starts sucking from this one, the one that's I know is working, and starts sucking fuel out of that tank. We'll be golden. Those clips that I played for you earlier, basically what I did was I crawled under there and took the one off the driver's side, put it on the passenger side. So basically it would suck off the passenger side tank, but we're not gonna deal with it. Here's a brand new one. This should work. We should be able to run the truck off of both tanks. So that's what we're gonna slap in there first, and then if I'm feeling very adventurous, and I can't lie, I do have the anxieties doing this. Plugs and wires, not that bad. Distributor cap and rotor, that scares me a little bit. I've never touched those before, so we'll figure it out. It's fine. And I guess while we're in there too, we might as well make myself cry a little bit more and do a compression test on the old girl. So I'm hoping that turns out good. Please. All right, well here she is. Basically, in order to pull everything back apart, we have a bunch of hoses that we have to pull off. That actually does not need to come off, but this one does, this one does. This one's already half on there because I was already messing with it. Basically, what I was trying to explain to you before was that each side here takes fuel from each tank, so it takes fuel from this one and takes fuel from that one. And basically this one, which is for the passenger side tank, wasn't working. So what I did was I took the hoses and flipped them. So basically the hose that goes to the passenger tank is now actually being ran off the driver's side, because the passenger side one is not working for whatever reason. So basically we get to pull it all apart, pluck that off, put the brand new one on, rehook all the hoses, and she'll be good. So like I said, these clips, easy enough. Get on with a pair of pliers. You got to pinch them, squeeze them, pull them back. Pretty simple. And then pull all those off. And then there's two really annoying nuts. You can kind of see the one in there. There's one there, and then there's one a little bit over on this side. Can I get you in there enough to see it? Kind of, sort of, not really. And then you also need to unplug the plug here, which is what runs power to activate the solenoids and stuff. So, yep, let's get her done. We got the old one out. The only difference that I see that kind of stinks is there's a little elbow on, I don't know if it's a breather tube or whatever, because that's where this guy goes, kind of goes ploop. But there isn't one on this one, so probably need to come up with something there. But basically at this point, it's get this guy, finagle it back up in there, get the bolts in, hook all the hoses up, and she's gooch. But yeah, we can just, goodbye. We're good. Let's get her done. Install complete. She's in. All the hoses and stuff are all reattached in there. Kind of tedious, really, honestly. Just, you know, it would have been hard for me to have the camera on. It's there. Figure it out. It's not too bad. It's just connecting them all and then making sure they're all clamped down and that this is actually in there tight. And now there's a whole bunch of bracketry that goes around this, and we're just not going to put that back on. No, I'm kidding. I'm going to fire the truck up, and I'm going to make sure that it actually works, and then at that point, then we'll put the bracketry back on to protect all of this. So at this point, we're pretty much ready to just turn the key and pray to God that it works. Now, the one thing that I am going to say that we're going to have to remember here is that on the switch in the dash, we're going to have to remember to flick that up, because I had it running technically what would be off the driver's side, because I tricked the system thinking that it was running off the driver's side and basically just flipping hoses. Now that the hoses are in their original positions, you have to make sure you have the switch in the right spot. So down is actually the driver's side, as up is the passenger side. And the passenger side is the one that has the gas in it. So I'm praying to sweet baby Jesus that it works. I also need to crawl under there and test on that a little bit, but now we're gonna let it run for probably a good few minutes, just to make sure that it's actually truly running off of that passenger tank. We'll go check for leaks now too. Grab the light here and crawl under and check for some leaks. Nope, none that I can see. Nice. Seems like the right thing to do. It's a beautiful day out, so. Ooh. Probably put some fluid in that. It's fine. Let's say that was successful. I think that problem's fixed, but now we got some other stuff we gotta do. So I take it you all remember that brake light's on, and a guy just figured out why. Yeah, basically the parking brake is actually like it rusted out underneath the truck, and basically every time that guy drops down a little bit, it says, hey, that's on. Might want to fix that. So am I going to fix that? Not right now. I'm just kidding. We fixed it up real nice. Just got some mason line and just yep, fixed, problem solved, we're done. All right, so I guess we're gonna do plugs and wires and potentially cap and rotor. I'm at least definitely doing plugs and wires today, and I actually want to do a compression test just to see. Hopefully we'll, have some good compression from each cylinder and we won't be off by like 20 pounds from one cylinder to another, because that means she's junk. But with that being said, basically what we're going to do is I don't know how you guys do spark plugs and wires, but this is the first time I'm doing them on a small block Chevy, and it's not a big deal. It really isn't. I'm going to do them one at a time. Basically one plug, one wire, starting with cylinder number 1, which is that one. And this is a GM product. It ain't no Ford or Mopar, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And yeah, we're just gonna wait. Hold on now. When I stopped counting, was I pointing to the direct? There's 8 cylinders there. We know that at least. But yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ah, now we got it right. So in order to do the compression test, one of the first things that we're gonna want to do here is reach back here, and I don't know if you can see it. There's a red wire on the distributor, but there's a red wire right there. That guy, you got to pull that out. That supplies power to the distributor, and we want to pull that so when we're doing our compression test, the engine doesn't actually fire up and run, because we're just doing a compression test. So we're gonna pull that guy out. Can I just get on that and pull on it? Come on, get out of there! Thank you. There it is. So yeah. Nope. Where'd it go? Come back. Darn it. This guy right here. Had to pull that one out. Well, we got plug wire number 1 off here. They have some zip tie thing going on here to hold them all up. That's cute. We're just gonna have to snip that apart. Oh, and they even zip tied them together. Oh, how about that? There we go. So there's plug number 1. Where does that? I actually have to get all the way in there. And I gotta fiddle with stuff, and just sounds like a lot of work. That's the one we needed. Okay. Can I have my finger, my doodle? My finger? Now we get to go match up the size and see which one is which. The way we're gonna kind of do this is I'm just gonna start snip off one plug wire at a time. So there's the old one, and then just match it up with the closest looking new one. A little bit longer, but that's the second to longest one. Now, is that... Maybe I'm wrong. Hold on. Maybe I'm wrong. This one longer? This one's significantly longer. Maybe that one's wire number 1. We'll find out. What's the worst case scenario? I have them all on and one don't fit. I mean, it is what it is. Put this one on the distributor there, and kind of run it back. And you're like, well, don't you have to pull it all apart to do rotors and caps? Yeah, I think I'm just doing plugs and wires today. We'll get the cap and rotor eventually. It's not like the truck's on the road or anything, so I have time. Yeah, I have. Yeah, we're gonna do it that way. I don't want to confuzzle myself. All right, now here's the fun part and the slightly scary part. I'm hoping these aren't stuck in there too bad. But we'll find out. There's no way it was that easy. No, come on now. No, there's no way. I mean, then again, that was only 1 out of 8, so. The spark plugs are going to tell us a lot of what's going on in there, and that one doesn't look bad. I wonder what, probably should check to see what these are going to be gapped at, but that's not bad at all. Number 2 on the passenger side, to realize that he never showed you how to do a compression test. So, first off, this is our gauge here, and basically what the stuff in my hand does, we thread this guy into the spark plug hole on the cylinder head, And then this is like your regular, honestly, it's pretty much the same fitting as you would use on an air compressor. She plugs in there. This threads, this guy right here, threads into the spark plug hole on the cylinder head, and then you twist it in, make sure it's real tight, and then you spin the engine over, and you're going to get a compression reading on this gauge here. Considering that this is a bone stock small block Chevy, you kind of want somewhere around probably 110 to 120 to know that you have a healthy hull. And when I say hull, I mean like cylinder. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to thread this guy into the spark plug hole on cylinder number 2 there. We're going to plug this in, and then we're going to go hop in there and crank on her. And we're hoping to see right around the 110, the 120 range. And the big thing that you want to do too is you want to double check to make sure that they're all within the same vicinity of each other for compression ratio. So if I did a test on cylinder number 1 and cylinder number 1 came back with 130 pounds of pressure, which would put it right about there on the gauge, when I come over here and test on cylinder number 2, you'd like to see within at least 10 to 20 pounds of the same pressure. So if we got, you know, like I said before, where you got, let's just say you got 130 on cylinder number 1, you would like to see somewhere between 120 and 140 on all the other cylinders, and have them all within 20 pounds of each other. And that's when you know that you have a healthy engine. So we're going to go and test on cylinder number 2 here, and we're going to see what we get for a compression reading. So we're going to go ahead and take our gauge here and kind of set that there for now. Take our hose fitting end, and got to connect the two up. If I can just grab onto it, darn it. Too much stuff going on, darn it. Okay. Well, when a guy gets to work with 2 hands, he can do a little more. So we're going to take our gauge and find a good spot to try to set it up for you. About 155. Wow. So what else I've been doing too, little button releases the pressure. What else I've been doing too is I've actually been keeping a piece of paper here with all of them. So cylinder 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I have my finger over that one for now. You're gonna find out why in a minute. We're gonna write down 155 on cylinder 2 here. One of the other things I should mention too is that when I'm not cranking it over, I'm gonna have the battery disconnected. And one of the things I like to do too is I want to throw the charger on this to keep the battery at the same voltage and keep it charged up. So when we're cranking on each cylinder, basically it's going to allow the same crank power. So basically the engine's going to be turning over at the same speed, because obviously if the engine's turning over at a higher speed, you're going to get a higher compression ratio. So you're going to want to keep the battery charged up so you can get the same spin on the engine to make sure that you're actually getting accurate readings. So we have our new plugs here, again, AC Delco. I was talking to a few people about it. Where's my, there it is. I was talking to a few people about what I should probably be gapping these new plugs at, and I got that I should be gapping them at 45. So this is a spark plug gapper. The camera can focus on that. Yeah. So basically you want to find, if you're doing it on a small block Chevy, from what I was told 45 is one to go with. If someone else has another recommendation, or you probably look it up, there's a different front end on this truck, and usually they have you know, like emission stuff, an emission sticker on the front of the truck here, and it'll tell you what you should actually gap the plugs at. But this truck don't got that, so we talked to the professionals, and the number that we're coming up with is 45. So we're going to find 45 on our spark plug gapper. Come on, darn it, focus. Have our spark plug gapper, and basically what you're gapping is the distance between the end here and the inside there. This little space that you're seeing in between my fingertip there, that's what we're trying to measure. And basically we're going to slide it in our spark plug gapper, and we're going to slide it until it don't fit no more. And this one is already gapped at 45 because I gapped it earlier. So this one's ready to go in. But sometimes, depending on where these are gapped at, sometimes they're smaller, sometimes they're bigger, which means you either have to tap them lightly, or you have to just tweak the end up just a tiny little bit. But yeah, this one's already gapped at 45, so she's good to get tossed in there. So that's what we're gonna do. So I'm pretty sure I'm not forgetting anything. And at this point, I'm just gonna get to working on it, and I'm gonna crank some, get some stuff done music, which is most of the time Will and Jennings. If anything catastrophic happens, or we find anything catastrophic, we'll tune back in. Oh, I just jinxed myself. Okay, that's strange. So, we have a lot more carbon on this one. I don't know if you could see that or not. Try it out the can. There you go. This one's a lot more carboned up than all the other ones we pulled out. Let's get the compression tester on that, and let's see what we got for compression. Oh boy. Well, folks, I think we just found out why she didn't want to do a burnout and get the wheel spin up in second gear. You know, I knew. Well, here it is, folks. Here's our sheet. Cylinder number 1 so far, 140. Cylinder number 3, 130. Cylinder number 5, 135. And yep, you're reading that correct. Cylinder number 7, 50. That could mean a few things. That could be a valve. That could be a camshaft. We're gonna have to do some further investigating here. I know what you're all thinking right now. You're thinking, oh boy, he's in trouble. No, it's fine. See, it just proves that this thing actually is clapped, like I keep saying it is. That would explain why it's down on power. So like I said, we either got a bad valve or something going on in a cylinder head, or it could be a bad camshaft. I know there was something about the mid-80s camshafts that they were junk, so we're going to have to do some further investigating and see what's going on there. But with that being said, I'm still going to continue. We're going to continue. So I'm probably going to take one of the spark plugs from cylinder 1, 3, or 5 and put it back in number 7. And I'm not even going to put a new plug and new wire in that cylinder. There's no reason to. It's a dead hole, basically. Which is funny because you don't hear it missing when it's running. I mean, it smokes a little bit on fire up, but I mean, besides that, I mean, the thing doesn't. I don't know. All I know is that we're not putting a new wire and plug on that cylinder if we only have 50 pounds of compression. So, with that being said, I'm gonna keep doing it. We're gonna hop over to the passenger side, which is gonna be cylinder 2, 4, 6, and 8. We're gonna do plugs and wires and compression tests on that side, and we'll see what we come up with on that side too. I'm curious now that I know that number 7's a dead hole. Curious to see what's going on the other side, but like I said, it's part of it, you know. So there might be a chance that when we drop the 700 R4 out of this, pull the engine too, which is awesome because depending on what's wrong with it, we get to buy speed parts. So don't worry, she'll be fine. Hell, I'm happy there's dead hole actually. What am I talking about? One of the things I did, which I mentioned it before, made a complete list of all the compression numbers from each cylinder. Everything else was smooth sailing. Honestly, 2 through 8, not a problem. So in cylinder number 1 we had 140, cylinder 3 130, cylinder number 5 135, cylinder number 7 a whopping 50. Cylinder number 2, 155, which was our best number, so that was our strongest cylinder. Cylinder number 4, 145, cylinder number 6, 130, and cylinder number 8, 145. So, pretty much at this point, one of the next things that we're going to have to do is we're going to have to figure out what's up with the thing for cylinder number 7. Like I said, whether that's a valve or a camshaft. We do have a way of checking into that, and that's what you're going to be seeing next. Alright, so as we all know, we are low on compression on cylinder number 7. So one of the things to try to diagnose that is, I did an oil change on it about a week ago. That's the old filter. So what we did is we cut the filter open, laid the filter out, and you want to explain what's going on here?
Well, there's evidence of metal chunks in there. And one thing that is super common with 84, 85, 86, mid-80s Chevy camshafts is the cam lobes are made out of super soft material, which over time, due to the valve spring pressure and everything, the camshaft lobes will start wearing down. When they start wearing down, it starts shedding metal chunks into your oil system on your engine. One major indication would be if you have lost compression on a dead cylinder and you do an oil change, like we cut the filter apart here, open up the pleats. Do I have chunky metal material? And we're not 100% sure that we have a bad camshaft yet,
but there's chunks.
We have all the makings of a stock Chevy camshaft going bad here.
Yep.
More will be discovered, and we will show you more on how to adequately diagnose this situation. But the preliminary evidence that we found to this point leads us to yet another failed stock GM camshaft in a small block Chevy for mid-80s.
There you have it. Well, that's going to be the end of this video. If you did enjoy, please remember to leave a like and subscribe if you're not already. Apparently, clicking the bell notification too does something. It's fine whether you want to click it or not. Don't matter to me, as long as you're here and having a good time. But with that being said, in the next video, we're probably going to do some further investigation and see what we got going on in there with that low compression on cylinder number 7. I'm thinking it's going to be a bad camshaft, but you don't know until you tear into it further. So that's what we're going to be doing.